Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is GL Rustic Design. Today's video is going to be a very large bathroom vanity with 2 side cabinets. So before I get into the video, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out tremendously. So I use pocket holes for just about everything. You can buy one of these pocket hole jigs at Lowe's or whatnot. But so all of these pieces will have pocket holes in them. And so this is starting with the vanity itself. So I drill the pocket holes in the front, so that will be the pocket holes will be holding the face on at a later step. And then also the holes I'm drilling here, that's to attach the frame of the vanity itself. And I use, you could cut this out with a table saw or a jigsaw, but I chose to use my CNC machine to get it as perfect as possible. So like I said, this is the sides to the vanity. So this, you'll have 4 pieces just like this, however long your vanity is. Make sure you account for that. I think this total length ended up being like 103 inches or 104 inches or something like that. So I used 2.5 inch torque head screws to attach off. So you're gonna have 2 on the front, 2 on the back as shown. And like I said, don't forget those pocket holes to attach the face at a later step. So speaking of the face, so this is the face itself. So those 1x3s you see, you end up going to have 6 of those. So 4 for the frame and then 2 for the face. So as you're cutting those, just go ahead and cut 6 of them. I try to get all the dimensions below. So I'm sure I forgot some, or I'm sure I might have mismeasured some. But please make sure you cut your own pieces. Don't go strictly by my measurements. If you have any questions, drop those in the comments below as well. So here I marked off. So I try to get each vanity sink bowl 24 inches. That's about, I guess, the standard, or at least that's how I do it. So I make sure I give myself 24 inches of room in between, so for the left side and the right side. And then the middle section will be 3 drawers down the middle. You can make this 6 drawers, you can probably make it 8 drawers, just however many drawers you want in the middle. The customer wanted 3 down the middle, so that's kind of how I chose to do it. So I just make sure, I put a mark, put my little runner pieces down each side, and then calculate the middle piece. So to separate the sink bowls from the drawers, I think I used a 2-inch piece of wood. And then to separate, so this piece I'm putting in now, that's actually that's going to be your doors. So you want to make sure these are as equal separated as possible. I usually just measure to the middle point, put my mark on the face piece and the cabinet piece. And so once you have both those sides done, you can carry on and do the 3 drawers down the middle. Like I said, you can do 3 or 4. We chose to go with 3 here to give make them all equal. I don't exactly remember what the measurement ended up being, something around maybe 6 to 7 inches for each one. So I just make sure to get all 3 of those equal. Use more pocket holes to attach the face. My concrete's pretty flat, so I just kind of use that to make sure that the wood doesn't move. But normally I would use some kind of face clamp or whatnot. If this wasn't so big, I'd just lay it down on the floor and do it from there. And so the next step is you're going to attach the face to the vanity itself, to the base that you already built. So those pocket holes that I mentioned earlier in the video, this is where those come into play. You could use, you could always use brad nails here, but since I'm staining it, you're going to end up seeing those in the end. So, but then I use some 1.25-inch screws to attach the face, to attach the face to there. And then so getting to the insides of the vanity, so I use, again, I cut all these, this is just cabinet grade birch I use for the inside. I mark it from the bottom, in between those 2, you see how it sits down in there, and then pocket holes on the outside of it. I say on the outside, but it's going to be on the drawer side, so that when you open the cabinet doors, so that you don't see the pocket holes on the inside. Really, it's just, just trying to hide all the holes I can. So once you'll have 2 of those, one for the left side, one for the right side, and then you'll have the bottom piece. So the bottom piece is just the distance in between the side of the vanity and where the drawer is going to meet the cabinet side. So Of course, more pocket holes. I put the ones in the bottom first. Make sure that you get this all the way against the side so that your drawers can freely slide open, and that you don't have any. Your vanity is as straight as it possibly could be. And so once you get all 3 of those pocket holes in, there should be 3 on the bottom, and then I think I put 2 on the left side, so going into the side of the cabinet. And then here I just ran some 2.5-inch screws through the bottom to attach that piece to it. And like I said, you can always put little drops of glue here as well. So here, this is just me again attaching those sides, the left side and the right side. So like I said, that's the bottom piece. And then so kind of bounced around. So okay, so go ahead and go into the cabinet side itself. So I cut these. This is the same concept as the vanity. It's just much larger pieces. So I cut out the sides. I used my CNC machine to cut out the sides, and then you can see those adjustable pinholes down that's on the inside of it. Those are not required, but it just makes it a lot easier for the customer. And then I go back and use the same 2.5-inch screws, torque head screws, with my impact, and put all those holes in, as you can see there. And I see pointing out the pocket holes on the outside of the cabinet that will be hidden by the trim at a later step. And so here is the back of the cabinet. It's just a really large rectangle. I think each cabinet total width is like 20 inches. So this piece is going to be something like 17 inches wide, along with the pieces that I used to connect the cabinet at the top and the bottom as well. So here, just more pocket holes. Like I said, simply, I use a lot of pocket holes because it's really easy to hide, hide any kind of defect or connection piece, or whatever you want to call it. So, and again, I want to emphasize, please like and subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm really getting close to 1,000 subscribers, so please hit the subscribe button. And if you have any questions, please comment those below. I try to answer all my questions. So moving on to the face of the side cabinet. Here in the video, I kind of I jump around quite a bit, but the face of the side cabinet is the same as the face of the vanity, kind of how I generally do it. So you're going to have, these are like 1x3s. So I actually put this piece, I don't do exactly 2 even doors. So the bottom one, I put that piece there, and I think I put this measurement link down below. But this piece is going to be so that the door is the same height as the vanity. If that makes any sense. If you've seen the original video, you'll see how the bottom door is much smaller than the top door. Okay, and then so like I said, again, the same concept as the vanity. I use the pocket holes. I'll come back later and hide these with trim, just so you don't see any pocket holes at all. Put you a little bit of glue in between the face and the cabinet itself. Make sure you just get those as straight as you can on the inside. Okay, and so once you get that done, I go ahead and I do the doors. So I don't do a whole lot of how to make door videos, so I make all of them on the table saw. So I cut the block that I need. They're all 2 inches wide, however long they need to be, and then I run them. So I cut 1.5 inches into the middle of it, right in the center. You make sure you get like a 1/4 inch, because the birch is a 1/4 inch. And then you flip it over and you do the other side of it. I'll try to do a better video explaining exactly how I do these doors. Here in hopefully in the next few weeks, I can get around to it, and I'll do a set of doors, and I'll really explain details of how I do the doors. But this is just a general overview. There's a lot of other videos on YouTube of how to do the doors. So I use a 1/4 inch sheet of birch for the inside, and then your stiles and your rails, I glue those together. You can see me wiping off the glue there, the excess that squirted out. Do the same for the top. I just used 2-inch pine for the outside, a 1/4 inch birch for the inside. So this whole vanity is birch and pine. and I think it came out, you know, exceptionally well. So then you always want to put a square on it at the end just to make sure that you get them even, because just being a little bit off, will, you know, throw the whole thing off. So once you get all the doors done, like again, those are all linked. The measurements I use are linked below. So now I'm working on the trim. So the trim for the vanity and the side cabinets all going to be the same. So the only difference is with this trim, and if you ever watched any of my other videos, that trim, the top piece you can see here, I don't put it all the way across. That's because of the toe kick at the bottom of the vanity and the bottom of the side cabinet. So I kind of, you know, I let them ultimately meet in the end. But, you know, you pocket hole those in, and then that's pretty much done. You know, you'll tack those on here so you can get those as even as you can. I put, I don't know, 6 screws, 2 on the top. I gotta get out of the habit of using my impact as a hammer. It's just there and it's so easy to use. But so I use the 1¼ screw, torque head screw, make sure everything's lined up, roll the vanity over on the back, and you can do the bottom side as well. So, and here, like I said, you can get that bottom piece lined up perfectly. And then that piece you see to the right of me, that will be the toe board kick, which is I put on here. So, you know, always put you a little bit of Top Bond glue. Top Bond, if you watch this, you can sponsor me, thanks. But so I just used some brad head nails. You can see that vanity in the back. I finished that one right before I finished this one. So and then so I also come back and just kind of make a base for this as well. I've seen people in the past, they've used 2x4s and they've made the whole base, and then they came back and set the vanity on top of it. You know, like I said, there's a bunch of ways, you know, of how to build vanities. This is how I build my vanities. You know, this is how I learned it. It works well for me. You know, all my whole shop is set up, you know, to build all of them just like these. So this is just really supports, you know, 4 underneath of it. I think I put 3 here, 3 or 4 pocket holes. You know, the spacing really doesn't matter. I think I just put them 16 inches or, you know, something like that. So but so moving on, so stain everything special walnut by Minwax. You know, stain it, wipe it off. Actually, I have a little special potion to get the special walnut a little bit lighter than I normally do. I think it's like half natural, half special walnut stain, for the ones who've made it this far in the video. So but I used the Craig hinge bore out bit. You know, that thing comes in handy. I line it up to the edge of the door to get this hinge perfectly. Use the bit that comes with it, and then use a little small drill bit to get to where you put the screws. And then once you do that, you can flip it over. And then I use this little a jig I bought off Amazon. It is just a it's a cabinet door, I guess, hole alignment. I don't know what you call it, but this little thing. So, you know, I line that up to the edge as well. I make sure I try to get those holes. I use a 3-inch on center handle. It's probably the most common handle. So I use that. Usually poke me a little hole just so my bit doesn't slide off. Then I'll use another drill bit, drill those holes out so that everything's nice and straight. Do that for all of them, and then attach those doors. And then so jumping back into the side cabinet build, this is just the shelving. So really you're gonna have 3 shelving. So you're gonna have the bottom shelf, the middle shelf, and the very top. Those don't move at all. I pocket hole those in, line those up. I think it's like, you know, 17 inches wide by, I don't know, 21, 22 inches deep or something like that. And then the middle shelving, since I have those adjustable holes, I use little pieces. You can see here, you can see the one in the middle. That's just an adjustable hole. I'll order all that stuff. So, but how I attach all the doors, once you get all the doors done, I just use the little flip head screws that come with them, attach those. And then so moving into the final piece of the build, which is the drawers themselves. So that little piece of pine you see on the floor, I don't know if it's 2.5 or 3 inches, something, maybe 2 3/4, something like that, wide. I use that, lay it on the face of the frame, draw me a line, and then use a square to carry that line on out. As you can see me doing it there. And then I put the drawer slide on top of that line so that that everything is straight. You don't have to worry about things being crooked. And then when you go to do the drawer box, you use that same piece of wood, put it on the drawer box so that you don't have to guess at what measurement it is. So speaking of drawer boxes, this is me moving into the drawer box themselves. I use 1/2-inch birch with all my vanities, top bond glue, and then so just glue and screw. I've never had an issue out of it. Other people do it other ways, but if it ain't broke, why fix it? So I cut the bottom, all the bottoms, all the sides. Make the sides roughly, I don't know, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch smaller than the opening of the drawer, and that kind of gives you your side measurement. I think all that's linked below as well. While we're here again, please subscribe to the channel. Almost at 1,000, trying to hit a goal of 1,000, so I can always make more YouTube videos. And then so here, like I said, same concept, glue it, nail it together. I don't know, I think I put 5 or 6 nails in the bottom of it. So yeah, so that's pretty much how I build the drawer itself. And then once you do the other side, so I use a little inch screw, torque head screw, to attach the drawer box to the face of the drawer. And the face of the drawers are built the same as the doors. The 2-inch pine, and the middle being 1/4 inch birch. And then so once you get that part done, you can flip it over, and make sure that you use that same piece of pine that I mentioned before, to get your drawer slide lined up with the other side. So here you could either draw a line. I just usually leave that piece on. You could even clamp it down, but if I can save time in places, I try to save time. But so I use there's little Phillip head screws that come with the drawer slides when you order them. Again, I order those on Amazon. Amazon or eBay is usually my go-to. I'll order them 20 at a time. I'll order 200 at a time. Just to get the bulk discount. So. Same with the hinges as well. So once you get those on, you can slide your drawer box in. All these little screws, that's for these little pieces. So I think I put 2 on each side, and then 2 or 1 in the middle, but facing down. So but I had already put me a little mark, so that you can line that up, line the bottom drawer up with the bottom of each door, and then make sure it's even from side to side. You could even put one screw on, and then go back and put the other side on. But the bottom drawer is probably the most important, simply because if you don't get it lined up, then all the other ones don't get lined up. So, but like I said, I just used the square, line it up. Make sure everything's nice and even. Get those screws popped in. And then carry your way on up. And then once you get that in, you can do the middle one and then the top one, and then pretty much your vanity is done at this point. So once you get all the screws in, you can go back, put all your handles in. Like I said, my handle of choice is just a 3-inch black handle. They're so simple to change out at a later step if you buy the vanity. And like I said, you want to go back and later change it out. But let's use that same bit to drill the holes through the doors themselves. Then when you slide your handle in, you can cut the screw to however length to be. The only thing that I went back and added after this video, so on the very back, I put me a piece of pine going from that the frame, those long frame pieces from the top to the bottom. I cut me a piece to go there to screw into the back of each side cabinet. But if you enjoyed the video, thanks.